All right, hello everyone. So last week I kind of went to my two-box system, prospective and the prepped box. Today I'm going to go over how I look at my cards and also kind of show you some examples of some rejects and why they got rejected and some things you might want to look out for you in your own cards. So start with materials. I am very basic. I don't have any Kurt's card juice. I actually don't like it. I think it's altering, but anyway, we can have a debate about that later. But I have a centering tool. I got this off of Amazon, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Literally just look up centering tool for sports cards. There's a bunch of them there. So it has all these different lines, the dots and the lines, and it kind of helps you out. And then I have a magnifier like that. It's a little desk magnifier. So I'll kind of back out a little bit. Desk magnifier. It's about 9 inches wide. So pretty cool little thing here, and it's got a light, so you can have normal light. You can dim it down a little bit. You can actually have a little bit different light on there. So it all depends on what you're looking for in your card. So how I put my light away. How I actually look at cards is I keep it very, very simple. And the first rule of looking at your cards is to throw your shitty bias away. Everyone has card bias. You bought the card, you saw the card, you think because it's got sharp corners, it should be a 10. Because the centering's good, it should be a 10. It's your favorite player, you should be a 10. Throw your bias out of the way and start thinking, what is wrong with this card? That's the first thing I'd be thinking about. So, as an example, we're going to do a live example of the greatest baseball card of all time, 1987 Topps Tony Gwyn. Tony Gwyn and Topps, he never has a great picture. So just throwing that out there. But anyway, first thing I do is leave it in the penny sleeve when I do my centering. So I match up the corners. And I look for certain things on here that I can try to line up. For example, this line and also the line on the right. So if we match up the corners and we see that line is just a hair inside, a hair of hair, and you go over here, it's basically the same. So side to side looks pretty good. Top to bottom, we're on that dotted line right there. It's the 4 line. So the bottom box of his name should be on that dotted line, which it is. Should I submit this? So I just grabbed a random card. This is all live right now. So that's the first thing I do. Second thing is look at the back real quick. Just want to make sure that there's nothing too crazy. They are more lenient on the back. 60-40 on the front is what they say. I think it's more 51-49 lately. But on the back, they're a little more lenient, so you can actually start lining things up. Like the left-hand side is right on that line. The right-hand side is right on the dot, so not perfect. Top to bottom, you got dotted line for the nameplate, so it should be on the dotted line on the bottom, and it is. So the second dotted line, as you can see, looks pretty good on the back. You can see more space than over here, but I think that would be okay. So the next thing is I take it out and I inspect it. So I'm going to do this without the magnifier just to make life easy, but pretend I have it under the magnifier. And the reason why I like the magnifier, and I also like my overhead light, is glare. So I always look under the glare. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with this card. That's always what I'm trying to think about, is what the hell is wrong with this card. So first glance, looks pretty good. No big divots in the card, no creases. Obviously, the corners look pretty sharp. Everything looks pretty good. The back corners look pretty good. No creases or anything. I don't know what that dot will do. We'll see. Oh, there's another dot over here too. So this is a card I probably wouldn't try to submit, although it was kind of tempting for a quick little second. But yeah, so that's all I do for my inspection. Put it into a new penny sleeve. Put it into a new, I haven't used one, but put it into a new card saver. And then that's when it goes into the prepped box. Right in the prep box. So that's my process. It's pretty simple. Now I'm going to show you some rejects. So all these cards are actually centered up. Now I'm going to show you. So you always hear people say, oh, but it's centered. No, there's a lot more to it. So when you first look at this card, you're probably thinking, whoa, that's a 10. Why is this a reject? Like you're probably noticing these little flakes. And you're like, hey, that looks like dust. So when you get the card in hand, you find out it's not dust. There's one over here too. So as you can see, there's not dust, and there's a scratch right there and right there. So that's my thumbprint, by the way. Because of that, I would not submit this. Also, it is sitting a little bit low. If it was just sitting low and that was actually dust and then that scratch just wasn't there, I would submit this. Because a 9 does 90 to 120 bucks, depending on where the moon is. And tends to go, the 10 I had, I sold it for 500 bucks. So, turn a $30 card into 500 bucks. It's definitely worth it at that point. $30 card to $90, cool. 8s typically go for about 40 to 50. So for me, it's not worth it. I'd rather just go ahead and sell it raw, which I'm going to be doing. Sending off to ComC. This one here, same issue as far as sitting down a hair, and same thing as the other one. But when you take it out, so you're probably looking at these little dots up here, you're like, oh yeah, that's got to be on the penny sleeve. Nope. As you can see, that is on the overlay of the card, so on that layer. So be careful of that stuff. That stuff will definitely ding you. I mean, those are the obvious ones. Next, this one hurt. I have like 3 cards in here that just gutted me. This one is one of them. It's a leaf of steel. Yes, steel. Oh. There we go, steel. So at first glance, when you look at it this way, it looks immaculate. When you bend it over side to side, it looks really good. The back looks really good. Nothing wrong with it. I could show you the back all day. This is why glare is important. When you shine it on glare, and hopefully it picks it up and doesn't get too shined out, there is some scratches over here on this side. Yep, you can see them right there. So, wait, let me lock that in. You can see there's some scratches right there. So that's why a glare is very, very important. Now, a lot of these are probably roller lines, but the scratches are not roller lines. The scratches on this side are not roller lines. So because of that, we are not going to submit that. That's why glare is so important. I like to do it in a dark room with glare like that. And that's why I have the that magnifier too, so that way I can kind of look in the surface a little bit more. Youngest to 350, really good looking card. That's fingerprint. But on this one here, there is a print line on the top that is not left to right, and there's a scratch right there. I think you guys can see that right there. Yep, scratch right there. That one's pretty big. Because of the bigness of that scratch, I decided not to submit it. I mean, if it 9s, it's barely breaking even. If it gems, it's cool. There's no way in the hell that's gemming. Cards like this. So plain day Griffey base cards, if they gem, go for a pretty good amount. So like this 92 Fleer Ultra, probably $60, $70, $80 card if it gems. As a 9, it's like a $20 card at best. There's some schmutz between his knees. There's some schmutz over here. And all I do is lick my finger and then see if I can remove it. And if I can't, then it is what it is. That's kind of my rule. But the rest of the card looked really good. Luckily, I have another one that looked immaculate. That's in the prepped box, ready to go. Next, Tidal Waves. This card was really cool. There is a dent right there. You always hear people get their submissions back and be like, oh, that dent wasn't there. Dude, I mean, look how much I have to glare it to notice the dent, right? Because if you look at this way, 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 you don't see it. But if you move it and glare it, you can see it. So that's why glare is so important when you're looking at your cards. Either overhead lights like this, or you can actually use the sun. I actually do that sometimes too in my office, as I use the sun. This card hurt. This card really hurt. It's the Super Nintendo Griffin. This card gems. It's basically a retirement fund. Now everything checked out except can you see that little crescent moon kind of bend crease? It's not crease, but it's like a bend. Yeah, that's why. So one thing you always hear people do when they look at their cards, they're like, oh, that crease wasn't there. This is why influencers annoy the shit out of me, is because you probably missed it, dude. Now, does PSA make mistakes? Yep. Do they make mistakes on every card? Nope. We are most likely the ones who made the mistake. So you can see that bend right there on that card. Man, I was like, oh my God, everything looks perfect. And then I glared it up, because if you look, you won't see it at all on a, whoops, block that in. So you won't see it at all. But if you glare it, you can see it. And I was like, oh crap, what the hell is that? And then I looked on the other side and I was like, oh, that's not good. That's a disaster. Keep that in mind. Next is a Barry Sanders Flair card. This one I believe is corner issues. Let me undo that. Yeah, so I think it shows it better on the back. It does. So right there you can see like that same type of crease thing that just happened on that Griffey. Whoops. You can kind of see it right there on that card, right in that spot I just kind of pointed out. And this corner is not the best. So for those reasons, I would not submit this. Looking at it head on, I mean, first of all, it's very 90s, which is why I love this card. But looking at it head on, looking at it through the glare, like everything looks really good, right? But just like dating, you have to look at the back. And yep, you can see that little crescent little thing right there. Again, it's like a crescent crease. I don't know what to call it. And then that corner. So if I find two pretty decent issues, I'm not going to submit. If I pull something, I may take a chance on a card here and there. But if I see those two types of issues, I'm not going to. Next is what was this, 96 Edge? Edge, yeah. So the back you can see is just beautiful. The front has a big giant, you can see right there, right between the lights, there's a big giant scratch. Yeah, obviously that is something, but when you look at it head on, you don't see it. Again, use the glare, you can see all your mistakes. Always look at that. Barry Sanders, whoa, I'm not even drunk. Emmett Smith, Bowman cut. Now I had a refractor that got a 9. I thought it was a gem. This one could 9. However, you could probably see it right there in the middle. A little bit of a dent right there, right in his thigh. If you look at it this way, you don't see it. Look at it this way, you're definitely not going to see it. But you glare it up, you can see it. And then on the other side, the magical thing is on the other side, there's nothing. There is nothing. You can see I'm trying to glare it on there for you. I think the camera's cutting in and out. Hold on. You can see, though, on the other side, there's nothing. But on this front side, I mean, it's right there on his thigh pad. So that is something that they will definitely catch. And because of it, I ain't going to submit. This video is way longer than I thought it was going to be. Next, Billy Wagner, SP rookie. I think he's going to be called to the Hall. One thing about foil cards is you're going to have to look out for a lot of foil marks like that. There's also some over here. There's some right by his face. So those are things you want to kind of look out if you ever have an older foil card, especially like this one. Now a lot of people are saying, well, this card's 25 years old and went through a lot of shit, which is true. However, PSA doesn't care. This card is at best an 8. at best because of all those little foil marks. I've submitted some foil other cards in the past and same issues. They always get 8s. So learn from my mistakes. Don't try to cheat the system. This one is sitting a little high, as you can see. So that's why this one is not going in. I wanted to show something that was off-centered. But left to right, it was pretty decent. A hair to one side, but the rest of the card looked pretty good. And yeah, so this one, it's one of those ones where if it was cut a little bit better, I probably would have submitted. Gold Memories, the 10s that I saw were going for a really good amount. So that's why I want to take a chance on it. It was like a $1, $2 card. Black Diamond, I got 2 Barry Sanders Black Diamonds. Both have the same issue. You can probably see that one right there on the left-hand side. Left-hand side right there. You can see some foil marks down here. You can see some, and then you can see some right there. So again, foil marks. Watch out for that crap. And then the other Black Diamond card. This one had something right here. It's not catching it on camera. There it is. So you can see it's not perfect. Because of that, I think it's going to hit me. Plus foil marks down on the bottom, all over. And if I remember right, this one had a dinged corner. Maybe it was the other one. Nope. Must be the other one. But anyway, a lot of foil issues. Foil issues are going to get you 8 or 9. 9s on those is just not worth it. 10s go for a decent amount. This is another one that hurt. Tiger Woods SP Authentic Preview card, numbered out of sample. There is up in the top right corner. This is something that a lot of influencers blame on PSA. I'm going to tell you right now, about 1 out of every 30 cards have this issue. And it is the hidden dent. So I don't know if you can see that on this corner, but you can see about 1.5 millimeters in. It's kind of dented in. Yep, that's going to happen to a lot of your cards, especially from this era. As you see, the back is awesome. It's awesome. The front is awesome, except that little mark. That'll get you an 8. How do I know? Experience. That's how I know. And then the honor roll card. This one didn't hurt as much. It's still a cool card. But there's just a lot of whoa, sorry for that. I didn't mean to do that to you guys. I was trying to unlock it. But you can see there's a lot of just foilness, kind of. There's some like rough foil. Looks like there's a line right there. Looks like a scratch. Yeah, so like from far away it looks really good. That's all dust, by the way. And then on the back, this top left corner isn't the best. So because of 2 strikes, I'm just going to take my... I don't want to risk an 8. So put it in the reject pile. And last but not least is this Goodwin Champions card. Believe it or not, I've seen some of these go for a decent amount. I'm a big Tiger Woods fan. I probably would have just kept this card anyway. But what was wrong with this one? If I remember right, I think it was up here. Yes. So remember that invisible dent I talked about? You can kind of see it right there. So you have to hit it on the right spot. You can see it goes all the way down to the yellow and the or whatever, orange on the border. So because of that, did not submit. Now that's how you have to get picky on your cards. That's why you gotta look at what the price of a 9 versus a 10 goes for. Is it worth it or not? Do you want to encapsulate? If you just want a card encapsulated, just make sure it looks clean and just throw it in there and see what happens. But when you're trying to flip for profit or flip for someone else's collection or whatever it is, you want to get really picky on that stuff, just like I just did. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute video. It ended up being a 20-minute video. So hopefully this was helpful for all y'all. But yeah, just because a card looks clean this way, you have to inspect it. Yeah, the first thought is, what is wrong with this card? That's the first thought I always go. What's wrong with the corners? Nothing. What's wrong with the surface? Oh, like this one. Oh, there's missing foil right there. or missing chromium or whatever it is. Okay, well, obviously that's going to do pretty bad. So off-centered with surface issues, probably going to get an 8. That's 2 dings. Not a card I'm willing to risk it on, especially where the 8s land on that card. On this one, we already went over that, and we already went over this one. Remember this one? This was the one with the big scratch on it. So leaf steel, 10s are about as rare as it gets. From here, it looks really good. Looks awesome. But then you have to glare it, and you can find all those scratches that I pointed out earlier. All those scratches. You're like, oh, crap. So that's how you improve your 10s. I've been doing way less gambling on my cards. A lot of pack pull cards, I will gamble it just because. But to be honest, every time I have a list of all those cards that you saw last week, I have a list of some things that could be wrong. Like there's a dimple, but everything looks good. All that stuff. I put notes on there, and then I put that on my spreadsheet, and then I always compare my 9s versus the spreadsheet, and they catch about 90% of them. So kind of show you that you have to be on top of your game if you're going to submit. But anyway, if you like this video, awesome. I appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, have a great day. Thanks.